Maggie. I had a request from Renee to do a chart of Hailey Baldwin Bieber, just to see what's going on with her. So I'm looking at her transits, her natal chart, her transits, and her progressions. Just a brief overview because I did her husband's. Yeah, so Hailey, I will try to post this chart. Yeah, so Hailey, I've done her chart already. So she's a Sagittarius. Her progressed sun is in Sagittarius. So it only moves 1 degree per year. Every birthday, the progressions move 1 degree. But the transits are where your planets are now. So what's going on now. So you want to look at them both. So because she's so young, they're both, she is 23 and he is 24. So when they have their Saturn returns, pretty much they're going to have them together. And your Saturn return is when you're 28 to 30. It's a major, major time of growth, growth. And anyway, that's not what we're doing right now. So I'm just going to read her progressions. Her progressed moon is in Aquarius in, let's see what house. First house, Aquarius. So she's very successful in all the media, all the media, very, very successful, and very much in the media, because Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is an air sign, and it's very, well, it's fixed, for one thing, it's fixed. It's on her ascendant, so, it's really cool how she changes her look up all the time. My favorite picture of her is, I think it's her. Oh, I'm thinking of Paris Jackson. Yeah, she had like the third eye on her forehead, but what I'm thinking of is the quirkiness of Aquarians. Aquarians are a lot of fun, and they're very changeable, and they're very good friends. They're very solid friends. So yeah, so her progressed moon is in Aquarius, and so friendships are very important to her, and the media. She's all over the media, the airwaves, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So we'll get to that. Her Mercury is in Capricorn. So her Mercury is in, yeah, her 12th house is loaded, and so is her husband's. So is her husband's, but I have to break it down. break down hers. Focus on hers. Yeah, so he's major 12th house. And the reason why is we're dealing with the outer planets. We're dealing with Pluto, Saturn, and their transits are, because they're so close in age, Saturn transits a sign for about 2.5 years. And so they would overlap. So they were both generationally born with this. But what house it's in colors how it affects you. So yeah, it's in her 12th house. She has Mercury conjunct her Saturn. Progressed Mercury is going to be in green, and Saturn, the transiting Saturn will be in red. Yeah, so anyway, so she has progressed Mercury. What degree is that? Let me just see. 13 degrees Capricorn. 13 degrees Capricorn in her 12th house. So, there's just a lot of communication, and it's, I'm sure Saturn is separation and hardship and difficulty. So there has been, just a lot of speculation and communication about her, in some of it in secret, some not, and because it's in the 12th house in Capricorn. Capricorn's very public, but the 12th house is very secretive, so and sensitive. So it may have really hurt her feelings. Yeah, but Um, yeah, so her progressed Mercury is in the 12th house in Capricorn. That's her career as well. And she is, she is a beautiful fashion model. And so that's a solid career for her. Um, what else? Oh, progressed Venus, definitely. We want to look at that. She naturally has Venus in Libra. She's absolutely beautiful. Um, but her progressed Venus is now in Scorpio, moves 1 degree a year. So it's just right on top of her midheaven in Scorpio. So that's pretty much her husband. He's like pretty much a super Pisces Scorpio, his chart. So that's who she's in love with. That's who she's married to. And so that's her, that's also her belief system. The ninth house is what your belief system, theology, higher education, travel. So her belief systems are very, very deep because they are in Scorpio. And so with progressed Venus there, she would really be looking more deeply into maybe different theologies, philosophies, traveling, higher education. And Scorpio just has a lot of depth, a lot of emotional depth. Yeah. So, but it's right on her midheaven. So, she loves to travel for one thing, and her progressed midheaven is in Sagittarius on her. Well, of course she's young, so it hasn't traveled that far. But her, just an overview of her natal chart. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but it's like looking at three things at once. So she has Sun, Pluto, and Mercury all in Sagittarius in the 10th house. That's marriage. That's marriage. And it is hard. I mean, I've already done her natal chart, but she's got some inconjuncts to her moon. And the moon is squaring her 12th house. The moon is squaring her Neptune and Jupiter. So emotionally, it may feel hard to her because, that's Pisces house, the house of, intuition, enormous sensitivity, secrets, illusion. So she used her Neptune. She used her 12th house Neptune and her beauty, Venus in Libra, for her modeling career and acting or whatever else she does. So anyway, I was looking at her progressed MC is in Sagittarius, and it's conjunct her, and her progressed Sun is also in Sagittarius. So, she's just very, very much in the news. The midheaven is the public. It's being in the public eye. Your career sector. It could also be marriage. So her marriage is just being played out in the public eye, and a lot of 12th house speculation going on about it. That may be hurtful for her, but she appears to be a very, very strong woman, solid, because she has Sun, Pluto. It has a lot of depth, and when you have Sun conjunct Pluto, that is one powerful personality. That kind of colors it Scorpio, because Pluto's the ruler of Scorpio, and Mercury as well. So she's got a very strong personality. That is the marriage house. So, that's pretty much what's up for her. She does have Jupiter, transiting Jupiter in Sagittarius. Extremely lucky for her. She got married because the 10th house would be solidified in your marriage. 5th house is falling in love. 7th house is having a personal relationship. 10th house is, is sometimes tying the knot, which she did. But why it feels hard for both of them actually, but for her is Saturn and Pluto, progressed Saturn and Pluto. Saturn is hardship, discipline, separation, loss. It could just feel heavy. And so to have that, it's sitting on her Jupiter too in Capricorn. And Pluto, let me just check the degrees. These are transiting Pluto, excuse me, is 22 degrees Capricorn. Yeah, transiting Pluto and transiting Saturn is 17 degrees. So they're very, very, very close. And her Neptune is 25 degrees, so she's probably confused too. But she is a very strong woman, and she's willing to work, to make this. She wants, because they're in Capricorn, she wants something solid. And her belief systems are intensely strong because they're in Sagittarius, and they have very strong belief systems. And with Jupiter there, it's just expanding, and she's exploring, and, it brings good luck and good fortune to her. Extremely lucky year for Sagittarians. Extremely lucky. But her 12th house looks hard. It looks hard. Her 7th house looks fine. It's, Leo. It's got Leo in the 7th house. Leo is great. It's love affairs, creativity, personal relationships. It's great to have Leo on the 7th house. I mean, everybody would find her attractive. She has no planets there, but that's what's there. Her North Node is in Cancer. It's transiting North Node. It is in Cancer in the 6th house. 6th house. Her work and her health. Yeah, but she does have a lot of inconjuncts to her moon. From her sun, Pluto and Mercury to her moon. And there's an inconjunct. I'm ending up reading her chart, but I already did. But every time you see a little something different, her Venus is inconjunct her Saturn. So that is hard. And Saturn is in the 2nd house of money. So, yeah, of course, there's a commingling of funds when you get married. But so moving on, I'm supposed to be doing her transits and I just wanted to do an overview of her chart. It's been a while since I looked at it. Need some tea. Okay, so I keep going back to her 12th house. Yeah, Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto is no picnic in the park to have that all up in your, consciousness. Luckily, she has Jupiter there and Neptune. Neptune, she's very talented, imaginative, talented. Jupiter brings her, it's kind of like a guardian angel in her 12th house. It's great to have Jupiter in your 12th house to handle these heavy-duty transits. So she can handle them, but they're not easy. They're not easy to have Saturn sitting on your Jupiter. That's her feel-good Jupiter in her 12th house. So, and it's her unconscious. So she's having to deal with a lot of stuff. And Pluto too. So Pluto, Saturn and Pluto have been transiting Capricorn for years. And so in her 12th house, that's honesty, to admit it's hard. Pluto can signify, tearing down in order to rebuild. It's the ruler of Scorpio, so it's transformative changes. So as a couple, they're going through this together because Justin Bieber, her husband, has a heavy duty 12th house too. So they both have a very strong 12th house of the unconscious, of the psyche, of secrets. It's Pisces house. But she has Capricorn there, so Capricorn solidifies it. But Capricorn is also, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So it can cause some hardship, sometimes depression. This is her transiting Saturn and transiting Pluto as well. So, yeah, she's going through some stuff too. Both of them are going through some stuff with Saturn and Pluto, for sure. So, but she is a very strong woman, just from looking at her natal chart. What other transits does she have? Let's see. Let me finish her progressions. So her Venus was in Scorpio, up in her midheaven, in Libra. In Libra, so that is good. Yeah, I already did a chart comparison between them, but that's really positive for them getting married. Venus in Libra, and yeah. So, but that's where I was with Venus. Yeah, her progressed Venus is in Scorpio. So, pretty much she married a Scorpio. Justin is Pisces, but he has a loaded, I believe he leads with his Pluto too. He leads with his Pluto, and I can't remember his chart right offhand, but he kind of presents as a very, very strong, almost Pisces Scorpionic personality. So she would be very much attracted to that with Venus in Pisces. I mean, Venus in Scorpio, progressed Venus in Scorpio. So yeah, she's helping. Venus is love, and it's what you like, and she likes depth, and so she's helping. With all these transformative changes, but Scorpio is about transformation. So whether it's transformation of her, well, it is in the 9th house, your belief system. Yeah, I think they're really off into religion or something. I don't know. I don't really. Yeah, they're consulting with her pastor or something, but that is 9th house Sagittarius, definitely. And Scorpio could be like transformative, could be counseling as well. But Venus is a benefic. It's really a benefic. And her Jupiter, her transiting Jupiter is really a benefic. Her 10th house is very solid. Very, very solid. Very, very, she's a very, very strong woman. Very fiery. Very fiery. Yeah, so her Neptune, boy, I was going to make this brief. Yeah, I was going to make this brief. Yeah, I'm just seeing so much in her chart, and I'm trying to not read it. So stick to the progression. So let's get to Mars. This is the last progression. Progressed Mars is in Virgo, 22 degrees. So progressed Mars in Virgo. Progressed Mars in Virgo would be green. I'm glad these are color coded. There it is. Da-da-da-da. 7th house relationships. And they are work. Virgo's rules work, work and health. So work and health, and that's what she's working on now. Her work and her health in relationships. And so, her natal Mars is in Virgo, and her progressed Mars was it? Yeah, progressed Mars is also in Virgo. So relationships are definitely up for her. She has the energy, the vitality, the stamina, the willpower to work on them because that's what Virgos do. Um, and it also rules health. So she's, dealing with a lot of health related issues of um, herself and her partner, uh, because it is seventh house. So we'll just leave it at that for the progressions. Yeah, and the transits. Let's see a little bit of the transits. What we did is her Sag, her 12th house, Aries. What's going on in Aries? Yeah, Uranus. Uranus is just going into Taurus. So it's been in her second house of money, assets, and money, and getting married, and yeah, it's been a whirlwind for the second house of assets and money. Aries, Sarah, there could be some impulsiveness, but she also has natal Saturn there, and that puts the brakes on. So, anyways, Uranus is leaving. It's going into Taurus. It's going into her third house of communication. So, for 7 years. So that'll be where the focus will be for her with Uranus, and Uranus is sudden, unpredictable change. So, yeah. So there has been some talk about, assets and money, and and I don't want to get in the middle of anything, certainly, but yeah, about not getting a prenup and all of that kind of stuff. That would be Uranus in the second house, but it's leaving. She has Saturn 0 degrees natally in the second house, so that's solid. She's a hard worker. She's a very hard worker. Her ascendant, progressed ascendant, is, let me just make sure. Her progressed ascendant is Pisces. Looks like, oh, there it is. Yeah, 12 degrees Pisces, and progressed MC was 19 degrees. 19 degrees. 19 degrees Sagittarius. So I went over her Sagittarius house, how powerful that is. So she's in the public eye, and she's getting good press. With Pluto, there's some kind of scorpionic press, but it's not about press. It's about her belief systems, and they're very, very, very strong, whatever they are. But she's a seeker. She's a seeker, and there I go back to her chart again. Yeah, because it's in conjunct her moon, that's what nurtures her. Your moon is what nurtures you. It's third house communication. Anyway, I was talking about her ascendant in Pisces in the first house. She's married a Pisces. So it's all about Justin right now, dealing with her husband. Yeah. Well, her first house is also her personality. Her progressed moon is in Aquarius. We covered that. So her ascendant is how she, how the world perceives her, how she presents to the world. And she also has, so she, in Pisces, in her first house of personality, she has It's an intercepted house for one thing. It's her first house is huge. It's Aquarius and Pisces. So she married a Pisces. She's all over the media, both of them. But she has Neptune too. Neptune is in Pisces. It's transiting Pisces, and Neptune transits can cause a lot of. So she's as confused as he. I don't know, not really, but they're both going through some stuff. But her Neptune on her ascendant can cause some confusion about identity, maybe personality. She is dealing, with her Pisces husband. Neptune transit on your ascendant can cause some confusion. She is a model, though. I mean, she can use that in her work. In her work, she could just really, as a first house Pisces, use her Neptune, because she also has her Neptune in the 12th house. So, that colors her a little Pisces, and so she can use that, just to, oh gosh, not mutate, chameleon. That's the word. Yeah, yeah. Pisces can be like a chameleon. They can change their colors, and they can. That's why modeling or acting would be very, very good for her. And she's from a family of actors, so it would come naturally to her. So she may be offered more roles. Her work may go in a different direction because she has Mars very strong in her 7th house of relationships. So some new work may come to her. And it would probably be in the arts, I'm sure, because it's in Pisces. So her ascendant and Neptune, though, in Pisces, in the 1st house, she would want to beware of drugs and alcohol because she would be especially sensitive to them now. And if not her, then she may be dealing with someone else's issues. And Pisces can be very helping. They like to help others, they're of service. And Neptune also seeks higher learning and higher spirituality. So spirituality is up for her, along with her 9th house. She's a seeker. Yeah, and her husband is up for her, Justin, and so yeah, so her Chiron is sitting right on her Saturn. So that's Aries. Chiron just went into Aries. It's been in Pisces, which has been extremely hard for her and Justin as well. Sorry, I keep doing that. Yeah, so anyway, now it's going into Aries. It's what is it, 0 degrees? Let me just make sure. Yeah, 0 degrees, Aries, 25. So Chiron is sitting on her Saturn. That feels hard too. It feels very, very hard and difficult. It's on her asset house. It's in her 2nd house of assets. Her natal Saturn is in her 2nd house of money, assets, material, goods. And Chiron, the wounded healer, is also in her 2nd house. So, there could be some changes somehow in her assets, because Saturn can be restrictive or sometimes cause some separation, or it could just cause her to work harder for her assets. But with Chiron moving into Aries, it's going to be there for 7 years. So we'll see, once they both have their Saturn returns, that's no picnic in the park either. So when they're 28 years old, that's when the Saturn return happens, and whatever's working works, and whatever isn't working will fall away, and you'll learn from it. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to cover her Chiron in her second house of assets. So I think that's it. I'm just going to end this. It's gone on really, really long. But pretty much I covered. Oh, well, let me do the North Node. Well, I did. Yeah, the transiting North Node in Cancer in the house of work and health. And that's what she's dealing with, work and health, work and health. And there's a theme there. That's Virgo's house of work and health. And her Mars, action, drive, ambition, drive, that's also in Virgo, but it's in the 7th house. So she's dealing with health issues in the house of partnerships. Yeah. So anyway, that's about it. I hope this helps, Renee. Thank you for your request. And yeah, if you like my channel, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.